In this video, we're going to look at example 2, where we're using synthetic division to divide by x minus a. So the nice thing about synthetic division, and the good news, is that we don't have these long drawn-out processes like we would have for long division. However, synthetic division, there's some things that have to be taken into account. Your divisor, all right, this term here, this x minus 3, the leading term, so this piece right here, the leading coefficient of the divisor has to be 1. Have to have a 1 outside here. If this was, let's say, 2x minus 3 or 3x minus 3 or even negative x minus 3, we would not be able to use synthetic division. Right? It must be in this form. Okay, so with that qualifier, let's move forward. So instead of writing this out as you normally would, right, we'd have x minus 3 in long division, and then you would write 2x cubed minus 7x squared. And don't forget that we'd have 0x minus 4, right? We need this placeholder. Instead of writing this out and doing the whole long division process, what we're going to do instead is we're going to bring these terms down, and we're going to use the coefficients. So we're going to use 2, negative 7, 0, and negative 4. Pretty simple. Then you're going to take, let's highlight this here, this term here, in this case the negative 3, and that's going to go in place here, but we want to switch the sign, okay? And that's something you kind of have to remember, not kind of, you have to remember. If it's x minus 3, since the formula is x minus a is actually the number 3. So really just remember to switch the sign when you're doing synthetic division if they give you this binomial in place here. All right, so we have 3, we brought down these numbers, so this 2, negative 7, 0, and negative 4 are the numbers that went there. From here, it's just a nice series of steps where we're going to subtract, and we are going to, I'm sorry, not subtract, I'm thinking long division. We're going to add them up, and we're going to multiply. So my first step here is I'm going to drop this 2 down. All right, so 2 is going to go there. Now, to create my next term, to go there, I'm going to do 2 times 3. All right, and that number is based on the number that's on the outside here from our divisor. So 2 times 3 would be 6. Now I'm going to add those up, going this way. All right. So negative 7 plus 6 would be a negative 1. Then I'm going to do that again. So going here, I'm going to multiply. That's not what I wanted. I'm going to multiply by 3 again. All right, again, you're just going to keep multiplying by that 3. So negative 1 times 3 would be negative 3. Add those terms up. So, sorry, I keep switching to the eraser. Add those two terms up, 0 and negative 3. 0 plus negative 3 would be negative 3. Multiply again, so times 3. Negative 3 times 3 is negative 9. Add those two terms up, negative 4 and negative 9 would be negative 13. You're done. All right, the bulk of the work is done, and you can clearly see that that is significantly easier than long division. It's a lot cleaner, it's a lot more organized, just much easier process. Now your answer, these terms here, let's highlight this in purple, these are the terms of your answer, and your answer is always going to be 1 degree lower than what you divided into. So our original problem was 2x cubed. All right, our polynomial was to the 3rd degree, so our answer is going to be the 2nd degree. So I'm going to take those numbers, the 2, the negative 1, and so forth, and it's going to be 2x squared minus 1x minus 3, and notice that I'm decreasing degree by 1 each time. So squared, this would be the power of 1, right? This is x to the 0. Well, I've got my constant, but I still have that negative 13. That negative 13 is your remainder. All right, so this piece here is our remainder. So we're going to subtract 13 over what we divided by, x minus 3. And that's going to be our solution. So 2x squared minus 1x minus 3, and then subtracting that remainder of 13 over x minus 3. That's the process. I'll go through the try it problem, so you'll see that in the next video. But really what you're doing, and you have to be careful of, is just make sure you have all of your terms. Remember here we were missing this 0, so we needed that placeholder. But in these problems, you're just multiplying and adding. All right, and just repeat that over and over again until you've filled out that little, I don't want to call it a chart because we don't have, cells and columns. And we do have columns, we don't have cells, but multiply those out, then add them. You're always going to use this number on the outside here to multiply. And what you have to make sure of is when you're going from your divisor to that single individual number, make sure you change the sign. Right. Hopefully you like synthetic division a whole lot more than long division. Just remember that synthetic division can only be used if your divisor, that x term, has a leading coefficient of 1.